interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I'll share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." What? We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I'll now turn the microphone over to the director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
His eyes always freak me out. Kash Patel. He was like,
Thank you, Governor.
Morning, Derek.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie.
Don't make it about you. I know, Afton, I'm the
Our
same.
partnership
Oh my,
has been
shut up.
absolutely incredible
Yeah, like-
these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest
Here we
of
go.
times.
Got it.
And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline.
Yeah,
Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday.
this is the timeline.
First FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos
My
of the
direction.
suspect at 10 a.m.
Thanks.
local time on 9/11.
Got it.
Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local.
Afton, what are you hearing? Put it in the chat.
Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night
Saw
at
that.
approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period.
So
And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent. We're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can.
holy crap.
Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI.
He told his dad.
There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake field office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently,
Okay.
critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions. And we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have as long as it
I'll take the
takes,
questions.
for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
That's sad when.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I would
Yeah,
just like to take a
He
few
told his
minutes
dad. His dad called.
as the
Oh,
sheriff
Mike
to
Smith.
express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed.
Yeah.
Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice.
I'm going to put some more details in the chat right now,
Most of all,
just so you guys
I
know.
would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that has stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country. Okay. And violence is tragic everywhere. Okay. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage.
Mm.
It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns.
Sorry. I just kicked her out. Sorry. I didn't know.
That stuff happens. And for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last two nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. God, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. He said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He said, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country.
Right.
I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Governor, can you please speak to whether the suspect is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that.
Governor, how do you interpret his motivation? Governor, how do you interpret the engravings on the casing?
What?
Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not. And by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. That's I think that speaks for itself.
Governor, so you talked about this level of hatred that this person expressed in a dinner. Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you've discovered that may have radicalized or changed him to prompt him to commit such a horrific act?
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes.
Okay.
But the investigation is ongoing.
Can you tell more about the family, what they had to say about the suspect?
How he came into custody of police and where he is?
He just said his dad turned him in before.
Yes, so right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that he was taken into custody, that his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. Those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him.
Is he talking
Can you tell us
about
about what the family is saying about Tyler Robinson?
I can't share any more than what I've already
Is
shared.
he talking
Governor,
about
do you have
authorities?
details on how he got back to Washington County and how the gun was obtained?
So how we obtained the gun was found.
No, how the
Was found.
shooter obtained the gun and how the shooter then was able to get back
So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities and did he discuss a voting?
I'm sorry.
Did the suspect plan to carry out any other attacks?
We don't have any information that
Are you going
released.
to be releasing the mugshot?
Yes, in fact, it was just released.
Is he
Oh.
talking with authorities and did he discuss a voting?
I can't answer that right now.
Can you clarify, you've spoken very eloquently about trying to reunite this country. Do you feel that this is a watershed in American history?
I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history, yes. The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history?
Beginning.
Look, I mean, if you look at true political assassinations in this country of someone of this stature, this feels a lot like the late 60s. And having one so gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets, we are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with the gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume. Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together, the Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight, last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be, I mean, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there. This is our moment. Do we escalate or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection between those two events?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct.
Could you just clarify this?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here.
You said that the suspect was from Utah. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about where, and was he a student here at this university? And is there
Got the mugshot.
Yeah. I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week, those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working, the county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, I'm just posting these mugshots on Twitter, and then I'll share them with you, and I'll share some of the pictures that I found. Okay, one sec. Okay, well, let me turn this off really quick. We can have a discussion about this because I still have a lot of questions, and I mean, of course, everybody has a lot of questions here. I have so many tabs open at the moment. So, all right, let me pull up his mugshot. Hey, Robin, and this is crazy. So if you guys, let me turn on this. Oh, I didn't have my ring light on. No wonder. I'm like, it's so dark. I did this so quickly this morning. So if you follow me, you'll see that I do have a series about Utah, and it's a very intense series. It's very it's just trigger warning. It has to do with children and abuse and whatever. And it's just crazy to see Spencer Cox and Sheriff Mike Smith right there giving this press conference, because I've used a lot of their sound bites and a lot of things that they have said about the cases that I've covered in Utah. But anyway, that was just super weird. So Frank Zell, I know you're probably creeping. So I know that you are well aware here. But all right, let's get his mugshot out, and I can just recap some things that were stated. Let me switch. I'll just put this on my, pull up my Twitter account. Make sure no creepy messages are showing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Can you guys see that? No, you can't. Okay, there we go. So this is Tyler Robinson. I don't know if his dad is getting the $100,000. I also saw that his friend also helped turn him in. But yeah, it's crazy because clearly once that enhanced photo was shown last night, and also, I think that if it's your loved one, most likely, or your very close friend, when they were first released, I'm sure Tyler Robinson's loved ones or friends were like, oh, shoot, that, he bears a striking resemblance, whatever. And then last night, we got the very clear photos, and I'm sure right away his family knew. But Patel said that he did admit it to his father, and then his father and his friend turned him in, and apparently he was cooperative. But I thought it was a good question. What was his demeanor like? Was he angry? Was he cooperative? I'd be interested to know. And they mentioned that they found the gun in a wooded area a little bit away from the campus after he escaped. And I'm sure, look, do we know if he wore like tactical gloves or anything like that? If his prints are on it? We're not really sure yet, because Kash Patel said that there's evidence being processed at Quantico. So, we're going to know more soon enough. And I'm sure the internet sleuths are going to pull up his social media, this guy's social media. And I was trying to look some things up as I was listening. And I thought also it was interesting that they said that the bullet said catch fascist, which that's very chilling. That gave me chills and goosebumps. My computer is showing that my internet is really slow. Am I freezing for you guys? Let me know. Sorry if I am. What else do we know about Tyler Robinson? What we know, his mugshot is getting splashed everywhere. Let me see. Yeah, we know that he arrived there in his car, and then they found his car after. Spencer Cox, they did interview his roommate, who showed them messages between Tyler. They believe, it's Tyler's account, where he said on Discord he needed to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, and it was left in a bush. And so this is also how they kind of confirmed that this could be the gun. And then he talked about the bullets being engraved. And let me see, family members had shared with law enforcement that Tyler Robinson became, quote, more political. and he talked about why he didn't like Charlie Kirk's viewpoints. He told a family member that he thought Charlie Kirk spread hate. And again, I am taking this from the press conference, and also I am taking this from BBC and NBC, and they have, multiple sources reporting on this. But mainly I'm taking it from the press conference. So yes, Spencer Cox, the Utah governor, said investigators, they reviewed footage and they identified Robinson arriving in his car, which was a Dodge Challenger, at approximately 8:29 on September 10th, 8 a.m. And let me see, we know what he was wearing. We know his shoes. We know his hat, the black hat with the white logo, light covered shoes. And I thought it was great that they started this press conference with, "We got him." I like that. Strong open. And just a side note, I was a little nervous that Spencer Cox was kind of going to give us like a little lesson and sort of, I don't know. I thought he gave a pretty bipartisan speech, which I liked. I didn't think it was too political. So I appreciated that speech, because at first I was like, you don't need to preach to us, but it wasn't super preachy. I don't know if you guys agree, because I was kind of like dreading it. But no, I didn't think that was bad at all. I thought it was pretty effective. And I mean, everybody in this chat right now, I know that most of you, again, I don't know all of you, but I think that everybody is pretty much a decent person, very respectful. And, they would all agree that, yeah, you can't just go around murdering people because you don't like what they say. I mean, it's insane. I listen, Charlie Kirk once said that he felt like, if his daughter, God forbid anything ever happened to her and she was raped, he said he would want her to carry that to term. I don't agree with that at all. Was I gutted by Charlie Kirk's death? Yes, I was. Was I crying over it? Yes, I was. It's many things about this. It's a dark day when we are watching someone on camera get assassinated in front of their own family. And Justin, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I understand what you're saying, but I have such a hard time with the just people being so inhumane right now. So inhumane. I know that I will put like child killers, rapists, pedophiles on another, what I just think nobody deserves to die or to be murdered in we are not the judges of people. That is not our job. That is not our job. So I find it just, social media, and I'm kind of looking at my feed and people that I don't normally see post about stuff, just unprompted will be like, well, Charlie Kirk did deserve it. He did say this. He did say that. Isn't it ironic? And I'm just like, I mean, you are entitled to your opinion, but why be so nasty? He was a human being. Are you perfect? Are you perfect? No, nobody's perfect. I don't know if this is confirmed, but it broke my heart to hear that. And again, I read this, I cannot confirm it, but his family was there. That is 100% confirmed, but that his little daughter was so scared and she cried and she ran to him on stage, or tried to, and that broke my heart. So I guess I'm just, going back to what Spencer Cox said, is this the beginning of something horrible, or do you think we can change? And right now, I don't think nothing is productive. Nothing is productive. I had somebody that I haven't talked to in a long time. And by the way, if you see my posts on Charlie Kirk and on Instagram, whatever, Twitter, I don't know. I'm not blaming anyone. I don't sit here and say, the left is supposed to be peaceful and look at this. I'm not even going there. I don't do any of that shit. I don't, because I don't think it's productive. I am posting about the travesty. I am posting about the crime. I am posting about, trying to find the perp who we now have. And someone came at me and gave me a whataboutism. And that is what drives me insane. If anyone ever wants to piss me off, if I speak out about a case or I speak out about something and someone goes, well, what about this person? When this happened to this person, where were you on that? I'm not talking about that right now. You know, every case is different. And this person showed me there was the Minnesota congresswoman that was killed in her home by a Trump supporter, I guess. And yeah, that's awful. And when that happened, I did post about it. I just feel like you can't compare things. Number one, just don't compare things. And if I'm going to say why it is different with Charlie Kirk, I think it's different in my opinion. Number one, he was only 31 years old. He was doing what he loved, and he loved this respectful discourse. Everybody who's out there posting that he deserved it. He asked for it. It's like, have you ever seen him have a discussion with somebody? I don't know if you have, but he is incredibly respectful. He is never nasty. And I'm in shock, because he would be the one to say, if he was still alive, he wouldn't be sitting here saying, yeah, you're right, we need less guns. No, he wouldn't. He would still support. He was true to himself. And I really respect that. And even if I did not agree, like I said, with everything he said, I find it totally shocking. But just back to why I think it's a little bit different. We saw this on camera, and I don't know if you guys got to see this horrendous video, but it was one of the most disturbing and scary videos I had ever seen. I posted it on Twitter initially because I was just in shock, and then I later deleted it because I felt bad, and it's crazy. I can't even, and I read this, and this is not confirmed, but I read that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and it somehow the bullet kind of ricocheted and hit him in the neck. So it wasn't like a sharpshooter. It wasn't somebody with this crazy experience, because I mean, if you think about that, that's crazy aim. And totally. I think that's what's so wonderful, is having nuanced and respectful discussions, which is what Charlie Kirk wanted. So just going back to that, I would feel just as upset if Kamala Harris was shot on stage in cold blood. I mean, she has a family. I will say again, it's the fact that Charlie Kirk is only 31 and he loved his family so much. He put them first for everything. He brought them. I mean, there is that sort of added heartbreak. But again, if this was anyone else, I would feel the same way. So I am beyond shocked. I am just beyond shocked at the rhetoric, at what is, I mean, yeah, Justin, dude, I thought it was AI too. I really did. I couldn't comprehend at all. So just back to some of the questions about this, I will say, when there were all of these false confessions and, the guy that looked like Tim Walz came out and said, I did it and I do it again, I was a little confused. And I think my head went to a place where I thought that maybe multiple people were working together and they were allowing the actual shooter to go somewhere else. And I know that, a few other people thought the same. He shot him from, I think it was like 130 yards away. At the time, I think it was reported as 200 yards away. So it also was kind of confusing to think like, okay, well, how could he get down there that quickly? And how could they apprehend him from, that far? So then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, that doesn't really make sense. But I will also say it is really interesting, and it's seeming it's more and more important these days, because there also was someone in Queens, a perp that was on the loose. They had this huge manhunt for this guy in Queens and just as a side, not to go too much on a tangent, but he was knocking on people's doors in Queens and asking if he could use their phone charger because his phone died. And then he was breaking in and doing horrible things. And he just did this to a Queens couple. He ended up tying them to like pillars in their basement, torturing them for 5 hours, stealing 2 bags worth of stuff, and then lighting the house on fire. So anyway, horrible. but he was on the loose. And the press conference that Jessica Tisch gave in the NYPD, they very, very much rely on the public. They were like, members of the public, you need to help us. You need to come forward. You need to da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I get that. But I'm kind of like, man, this is all they have. All they have is us and these tips. And so the same thing last night. At first, I was a little, I don't want to say underwhelmed. Actually, underwhelmed is not a word. Sorry. I was not, no, I don't know how to say it. They're working hard, but they were like, so far, all of our leads are coming from the public. All we have is what we know from the public. And I'm like, well, that's, you got to do a little more than that. But as the press conference went on, they ended up saying that they have collected a significant amount of DNA evidence, forensic evidence, and that's all being processed at Quantico, and then they were able to enhance the photo, which for me, I think that's the biggest thing, because like I said, you get the photo up, you distribute that everywhere, somebody is going to recognize him, and then that's when you're going to get the tips. So I thought that was, pretty much the best thing they could have done. And also the fact that surveillance cameras are everywhere and they should be everywhere. So if you are all, if you work in a certain area or if you frequent an area a lot in your life with your kids or your family, you should really make sure that there are cameras. I mean, everywhere. I know in New York City, there are tons of cameras. There's almost 20,000 surveillance cameras across all 5 boroughs, and they are continuing to add them. So I think that is so important nowadays, because so many times in cold cases, you look back, there's no camera footage anywhere. So people just did whatever they want without getting caught. And it makes me very relieved that we've come a long way digitally, forensically, etc. So yeah, I mean, Utah has the death penalty. I'm fine with the death penalty. I don't care. I don't think, anybody should play God, like I said, but if that's what, legally, that's what the justice system wants, then great. I mean, there are times I think that it might be, I don't know, like Pam Bondi proudly announcing that she was going to pursue the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. That to me felt like a bit of a show. You know what I mean? I'm like, that sort of feels like a show. This, however, it doesn't feel like a show, because we saw what happened. We saw it on camera. And if Tyler Robinson, again, innocent until proven guilty, if he actually is responsible for this, then yeah, I think that's valid. I mean, of course, we saw on camera what Luigi Mangione did, but I think during that time, with everything that was going on in the country, I did sort of feel like Bondi was sort of doing that for show. And, but yeah, that's my opinion. So let's see, trying to think if there's anything. So right now he is being held at the Utah County Jail. They have confirmed that he acted alone, and Spencer Cox and Kash Patel really, they really highlighted the fact that when local law enforcement works together with the FBI, things get done, things happen. This was great to hear. And I know this sounds silly, but it was great to hear, because you watch all of these stupid TV shows, cop TV shows, and you see that they never want the FBI to come in. They're always like, oh no, we got this. All the local departments are like, we can handle this. We got this. And it's just fake. I mean, sure, I'm sure it's a case by case situation, but yeah, it's really interesting how they highlighted the fact that it was great. They were able to work together, and then yeah, this is what happened. So let me see. Yeah, and I mean, if you're just joining, I was kind of dreading Spencer Cox when he's like, let me just say something else. Like in general, I was like, oh, we don't really need a lesson right now. But I thought what he said was really effective, and yeah, and it was nice. It wasn't too political, because I think at this point, I think the way that we can move past this and we can have productive conversations is to stop being so political. And I think where, again, this is my opinion, but I think where we've really just kind of dropped the ball here as a country and as a society is that we put the word far in front of like left and right, and there's just no in between. It's like you're far left, you're far right. And it's just not, it's not healthy to be just far, because I don't think that's a great word. That's not a great adjective. And, or when it's paired, when it's paired politically. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. And again, I think that in order to move past this, we have to just stop boxing ourselves in. That's what I think. So I'll look really quick. I'm going to try to get more. I went on Facebook, by the way, because I think somebody had found Tyler Robinson's mother's face. Ooh, let me get this. All right. There's a lot of different sleuths right now. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'll make myself smaller so we can go through this. Oh, whoops. Okay. So it looks like, and I'll try to zoom in. Oh shit, sorry. I hate my computer does this. This is him. I mean, this is crazy. Like this is so, he looks like, yeah, pictures with his parents. He has relationships with his family. I mean, this says he was a student at Utah State University on a scholarship. Authorities said at a press conference. Yeah. Okay. The killer confessed to his father named Matt, who is a 27-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Jeez. His father. I mean, does that mean he was like a cop, or does that mean he worked? That's crazy. I'll look that up after. His father then contacted authorities, secured his son before he could be taken into custody. Investigators learned, we went through this, he had become more political, had expressed recently his dislike for Charlie Kirk, describing him to his family as full of hate. The casings from the weapon were found to have several anti-fascist messages engraved on them, including one referencing the Italian anti-fascist song Bella Ciao, Hey Fascist, I can't even say that, sorry, Hey Fascist, catch, and another read, if you read this, you are gay, LMAO. Ugh. In one image from Robinson's mother's social media from 2017, he's seen wearing a Donald Trump costume for Halloween. Interesting. Okay. And that is, oh, wait. Sorry, I'll get this. Sorry, I'll fix the layout after. The family's social media profiles show Tyler Robinson, who has two younger brothers, often enjoying family vacations, sharing smiling selfies, including some celebrating the alleged killer getting into college. Wow. Let me go back to the chat. That's nuts. Wow. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I'll look him up. That's crazy. His family must be gutted. Oh my gosh. I mean, clearly not as gutted as Charlie Kirk's family, but still, this is survey. Okay. So let's look at some of these photos of him. Okay, so that does look like a dorm room. Again, that's him and his dad. It looks like he and his mom, maybe at a high school or football field. That's him. And that's him with a gun. Here's more pictures. Oh, he had a scholarship. Wow. His dad, Matt Robinson, was a deputy with the, oh my gosh. Wow. I got to change that banner. That's crazy. Wow. That's so crazy. I guess I should put alleged shooter, but I'm saying it. Alleged. I mean, I wonder if he'll have a trial or he'll just plea out. What do you guys think? I mean, right? If they take I would say if like they want to take the death penalty off the table, I don't know. I think they might make an example out of this guy and force him to go to trial, right? Because they won't take the death penalty off the table, or right? I don't know. Geez, that's so crazy. So crazy. All right, what else here? Let's dig a little bit further. Oh my gosh, he looks very young there. He looks, yeah, like he definitely, when he hit puberty, he kind of like thinned out, I guess. I'll try to find that video after. Oh, another family picture. Wow. I mean, I know you cannot judge a book by its cover, right? You absolutely cannot, but man, I don't know if I would have, yeah, I don't know if I would have pegged that guy to be a cold-blooded alleged murderer. Yeah. Right. They do have firing squad. And oh my gosh, that's right. Which apparently is the most humane way to die. And you know what, Derek? Yeah, I think you're right, because they're gonna want to make, I don't know though. What if Charlie Kirk's family is like, no, I can't, I don't want to go through this. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. But true, they are going to want to. And actually, did you guys catch this? You might have caught this in the press conference. I think it was Spencer Cox who said, we are working very closely with the Kirk family. So that's interesting, because normally, and you can go back to Idaho or something like that. Normally, it's like the prosecutors, they don't need to get permission from the family. Like they don't need to, they don't need to ask their permission. And I think that, you obviously saw this with Kaylee Gonzalez and the prosecutors. They were not on the same page. So I do feel like they are offering the Kirk family just some extended grace here on this by saying we are working closely with them, because, that it's just not always like that. It's not always about, unfortunately, what the family wants. So I did find that to be really, really interesting that, he said that we are working closely with the family. And so, yeah, so maybe if Erica Kirk says, I don't want to go through this, I don't want to relive this, then maybe they would consider taking death off the table for a plea. But as of right now, I don't think so. And maybe, I don't know, if I feel like at this point, since they arrested him last night, they would have found something by now, and that would have been something they would have announced, but you never know. You never know at all. So let's go back to just digging here. Oh, let me make myself smaller. I'm just proving a point for a second. Let me see. Current Utah death row inmate, shortest time there is 26 years. Yeah, like who wants to pay for this guy for 26 years? Yeah, and like most prisons, death row inmates get way more privileges in their cells and all this stuff, which is just, I don't know, it's just stupid to me. It's like, especially if you're in there for 26 years, it's like, oh, let me make sure he's comfortable. It's just like, whatever. All right, let's go back to making me smaller, and let's dig a little bit further. I'm just, wow. I'm just really surprised. Oh gosh. So, I mean, yeah, he knows how to shoot, clearly, if that's him, holding a rifle at a very young age. Man, I want to see more of his rhetoric. I think that's what I'm really interested in. I want to see more of his social media. I want to see, I mean, we know what he allegedly told his friends, told his parents, but I want to see this Discord interaction, which I don't know if we're going to see it, because I think that is a clear part of the evidence that law enforcement and the FBI have against him right now. So let's see. Oh, that's really nice, Austin. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. All right, where was I? Yeah, and I'll look in a second. Geez. Okay. We know he's caught. We saw all this. We saw this. Maybe I'll go down a quick Reddit hole. I'll refresh this because people are amazing. I am like so amazed by people who get information about these perps so quickly. All right, we just saw this. Oh, right. That's interesting. Okay, that's a great point. In this photo, he appears to be wearing the same shoes. I guess they look a little bit lighter there, but it could be the lighting. Who knows? This comment says, I don't know if you guys agree, the way he's holding his hands is more interesting than the shoes. Both together tell me it's the same person. Right. Look at his hand position. That's a great point. That is a great point that this person made. Wow. Really good point. I love how like just assertive people are. And I feel like I always learn. I even learn from random comments on the internet. I'm like, that's a good point. You should always look at body language if you're comparing. And yes, intellectually we know that, but we just don't always remember. So, all right. Let me see what else here before I go to Reddit. Yeah. All right. We went through this. Let me go to Reddit quickly. Did we see this? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay. And isn't Tyler Robinson the name of somebody in Imagine Dragons? Am I crazy? Maybe I am. Okay, Tyler Robinson. Charlie Kirk. All right, let's see. I'll share this tab just so you guys can see as I sort of go into this. He does kind of stand in an interesting way. I did notice that as well. He's got a very specific, demeanor, posture, and it's true with the hands in the pocket. I feel like that sort of does symbolize some kind of uncomfortableness, right? Like if you're crossing your arms, obviously that's the thing. It's definitely a sign that you're not 100% comfortable, with yourself, with your body, whatever. So, I'm not going there with this right now. I guess I'm not really, I think I had said before, if you're just joining, I just don't think it's going to be productive to have that type of argument, I guess. I think we all just have to like meet in the middle and just sort of understand that this is a human being did this to another human being because he didn't like what he had to say. So I won't ever be okay with that. I just won't. Yes, 42. I'm looking for like the most recent. That's 42 minutes ago. 42 minutes ago. What else? 2 hours ago, an hour ago, 43 minutes. Okay, so let's go to here's. Let's see what these people are saying. I wonder why he confessed. The FBI has been crippled to the point of incompetency. I just don't. I feel like he had to confess because somebody was going to point him out because they would have recognized him. So people are, Sources claimed he hated Kirk. Typical Mormon kid. We don't know if he's Mormon. I mean, obviously we can make assumptions, but right. So this is, yes, that's what we were just saying. We were just saying that his Discord was discussing, the weapon. And I don't know if that's going to be released anytime soon because it's a part of the investigation. So I don't know, but I totally agree. I would love to see his conversations, and I would love to see more of his rhetoric here. Let's see. Okay, this is 53. Trying to get it like turned in by father and minister. I didn't see that. This person says, if this kid isn't Mormon based on this photo, I don't know who is. It'll be interesting to see if he is LDS and if he's a return missionary. I mean, I don't know how, I guess, sorry to be dense. I don't know how you can look Mormon by just staring at a camera. Is that a thing? Is that, sorry. Again, I don't mean to be dense. I'm just like, I don't know what this means. Okay. Some of these say, oh my gosh. Kids should have chosen to grape kids. He never would have been turned in by a Mormon bishop. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Let me see. All right. There's not much we know yet. I wonder if this kid has an Instagram. I'll try to find part of his Instagram. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Twitter because Twitter is super quick too. Oh, I bet Colin Rugg will have something. There's no way Colin Rugg and his team won't have something. Okay, here we go. No, he doesn't have, I'll share this, but usually he's so fast with this stuff. He doesn't have anything. Huh. Okay. I mean, I guess, you know what? Maybe I am kind of doing this the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't focus so much on the perp. And I'm sure many people would agree with that. I guess I'm just trying to figure out exactly where this came from, why he did it, why. And so without focusing too much on Tyler Robinson, I think my whole point is here. I want to know why he did it. I want to know just certain mitigating factors around everything. Did he have issues where he was, doing a lot of drugs recently that could have affected his brain? Was he depressed at all? Did something happen in his life? Were there signs? Did anybody know? I think that's what I want to know. So possibly the public could be educated on what to look for and signs and this and that. So I think that's sort of my goal, I guess, in focusing on Tyler Robinson. Not to make him any type of celebrity or whatever. But yeah, I definitely don't want to highlight him too much. But again, I want to know. I want to know. I want to know all the details. So hopefully we can ensure that people can help a person who might be showing signs of doing something like this. And I don't want to go too much into the weeds, but I'll close everything with, we'll go over a few more details of the investigation and just things that have been released. Again, as of right now, he worked alone, Tyler Robinson. He had expressed to his family that he thought Charlie Kirk was a hateful person. And I'm also reading he was very steeped into, quote, online culture, and included, the bullet engravings, references to Antifa, the fascist catch. Let me see what else. And just a quick timeline. So a quick timeline. Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday, September 10th. Within 16 minutes, the first agents had arrived and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched aircrafts to transport special personnel and evidence to Quantico. And then the first set of photos of the suspect was released yesterday. So it did take a full day. I think it took, to get Luigi Mangione's face, it did take quite a few days. Hey, Gary, good to see you. It did take quite a few days. So this was pretty quick, I thought, in getting his face out there. At 10:45 yesterday, the FBI, on the 11th, they announced the reward of $100,000. And by the way, we don't know who's getting that award. And I don't know. I can't see Tyler Robinson's family taking it. I don't know them, but I feel like that would be pretty messed up. Let's see. The press conference happened last night. I think it was about 10 p.m. Or no, it was before that. Sorry. Because then at 10 p.m., the suspect was taken into custody. Now, it's important to know he was not a student at Utah Valley University. He was not a student. Cox, the governor, said all the charging documents will be filed by early next week. So we will definitely have a live, I think, and go over some of those documents. So that'll be interesting to see all of that in writing. And I know that prosecutors in Utah said they were preparing to pursue the death penalty. So we'll see that as well. Yeah, they called it a watershed moment, but they don't know what kind yet. And Spencer Cox said he feels like a lot of this was a moment, that felt like the late 60s, described social media as, quote, a cancer. And I don't really disagree with that at the moment. I really don't, because if you look at social media and how clips are formed, which is crazy, people just take parts of interviews that they want, that fits their narrative, and they put it out there as a clip, and it's dangerous. And I saw Stephen King, he was tweeting stuff about, Charlie Kirk wants gays to be stoned and all this stuff. And then somebody posted a clip where this kid was just like, hey, Charlie, I'm a gay conservative, da, da, da. And Charlie Kirk he was just like, listen, you don't have to lead with your sexuality. Like, I'm a gay conservative. We don't have to, we don't have to be pigeonholed or boxed in by our sexuality or what we prefer in the bedroom. You can just say, I'm so-and-so and I'm a conservative. And then he went on to say, right? He said, I don't agree with that lifestyle. Fine. That's your opinion. Maybe this guy doesn't agree with Charlie Kirk's lifestyle, but Charlie Kirk then said, I don't agree with it, but welcome. We're so happy to have you. I mean, like, it's crazy. So it's just like, you can disagree. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I don't know, and forgive me if there is someone that is a Democrat, right? We know Charlie Kirk is a Republican, a conservative. Is there a Democrat that does what Charlie Kirk does? I know there's that one kid, what's his name? Hunter, Derek, I'm blanking. But does he travel to colleges? Does he give speeches like this and encourage, political discourse in a respectable way? I don't know. But if he did, like, that would be great. That would be awesome. Like, I don't see the problem with that. I don't. So social media is incredibly dangerous when you have these clips taken out of context and people get hurt by them, like, emotionally and mentally hurt. And that's horrible. I don't want anyone to get their feelings hurt or be hurt. And yeah, it's true. It's just like, I think, and Charlie Kirk said that you don't have to introduce yourself by your sexuality. It's just like, you're a person. So yeah, it sounds like it. The average person really is irrational. Yeah. And I couldn't take it. I felt bad, but I was like, I was on my burner account and I was looking at the Stephen King take on and just completely shaming Charlie Kirk. And I just tagged, I find retards, because we all have a breaking point. Okay, you guys, we all have a breaking point. Again, if Kamala Harris was just murdered in cold blood, do you think a respectable person would sit there and go through all of I don't even think all the dumb stuff that she said or things that they didn't like that she said, that would be horrible. Have a little respect. Have a little respect for your fellow human. I mean, yeah, it's nuts. But yeah. But anyway, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything that's super important. A journalist did ask if there is potential for further arrests, and Spencer Cox, he did. Oh, hold on. Spencer Cox did say that they don't have information at this time that would lead to additional arrests, but the investigation is ongoing. So, and that's how it usually is, right? Until you get to trial, the investigation is ongoing. So anyway, yeah, I have a noon, so I am going to jump, but I do appreciate everybody tuning in and watching my coverage and being here and being so respectful. I love this chat today. It was really nice. I really appreciate everybody's input. So if you like this channel, like, subscribe, whatever. I'll be back. And I usually look a little more presentable than this. I jumped on this last minute. I've got some research to do today, nothing on camera per se. So yeah, so usually I'll look a little bit more professional. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. And I hope you all have great weekends. Praying for everybody to have a peaceful weekend, a safe weekend. And yeah, I will talk to you all later. Thanks, guys.